Hello, welcome to the Node.js community benchmarking meeting, the 19th of June, 2017. So far, we have in attendance myself, Michael Dawson, Kuno Pathak, Kyle Farning, Tara Wall, and Gareth Ellis. We'll start with our regular agenda. I guess first I'll ask, does anybody have anything to add to the agenda?
I think so. Are we going through the open issues, because there are, I think, pretty stale issues that we should either close or.
Yeah, we can spend, if we don't run out of time talking about the other stuff, that's part of the standard agenda. We'll go through the open issues and see if there's any actions to take there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess, moving on to the stand-up then. Myself, as agreed last session, I scheduled and we set up a session on how the CI jobs were set up and how other people could get in and start contributing to those. And also a little bit of work around setting up the polls and coordinating for the regular meeting time, which we've now decided is Mondays at 3 Eastern. Kunal?
Yeah, so I worked on a proof of concept to capture the memory trend. And I mean, I don't have it something to show, but hopefully by end of this week I should have, I will try to use the same scripts that we use for Acmere memory footprint recording, and add a wrapper to it to capture it every 1 second or every 5 seconds, whatever. And just calculate the area, just sum it up and output that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Other than that, I was playing with the Jenkins job that you have set it up. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Right now, the node checker core building step is failing because I believe the machine doesn't have Clang compiler.
Yeah, it's a default Ubuntu install. How does Clang usually get on the machines if it's needed?
I mean, we usually manual install.
Okay.
What version of Ubuntu is it? Do you know?
I believe it's 14. If I had to guess, I'd have to go back and take a look, but I think it would have been 14. The interesting thing is, to set that up, I just used the standard community Ubuntu 14 Ansible scripts.
Yeah, and I think Joao had to do, when we recently did some work to get Chakra Core building on 14.04, and it required, Joao had to update some scripts to get some custom versions of Clang and CMake on our machine.
Okay, so if the Ansible script is updated, we could try running those again and seeing if it does the appropriate update.
Yeah, I'll ping Joao and check and
Yeah.
see if it's all updated and if we can just run it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
The PR is still open. It's in the build working group. It's in the build repo.
Okay.
Because that's probably the best way to handle that, and then that way, whatever machine we have to run on, it'll be ready to go.
Right. Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it from me.
Okay, so yeah, if that stalls, let me know. But yeah, if you can get Joel to tell you if it's ready or not, and if it is ready, I can check it out and run it against the benchmarking machine. In theory, it shouldn't mess anything up. So.
Okay.
Okay, Gareth.
Yeah, not very much to report at the moment, I'm afraid.
Busy on other things, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so let's go through the actions from last meeting. So I had an action to set up the meeting for CI job configuration, so I'm going to say that's done. Anil was going to set up a meeting to flesh out submission to Node Summit. So no meeting, but Anil told me he submitted it. Emailed me to let me know it had been submitted last week. So I guess we'll just wait to hear. I think we're starting to hear about the content of Node Summit. Come on, it's formatting. Anyway, okay. Canal to create PR to add mean. So still working, right?
Yeah, still working. Yep.
So I'm going to say this one's done. Okay, Udem's going to submit a PR with info for scripts for DCIS. I think Anil let me know. Mentioned that still working on this rollover. And Michael to suggest updated work warning for participation guidelines, which I have not done, so I will roll that over as well. Okay, so I think that's the actions from last meeting. So let's then dive into the open issues. So I'm going to open up issues. So just going in reverse order, setup, configuration, benchmark, and CDI jobs working session. I'm just going to close that as done. Okay. Next one. Set up a regular time for benchmark, meeting work groups. Okay. Meeting set. Done. Close that guy. Okay, so the next one is add uglified JS benchmark.
There's an add nightly runs for Node version 8.
I'm going in reverse order, so which number is that?
105.
Right, okay, sorry. Yes, yep, I don't know, so that's done. Gonna close that guy. I should remove, I'm gonna give myself a new issue, which is to remove 7. Remove 7.x from nightly. Now that version 8.x is out, remove 7.x from the nightly. I'll create that one. If anybody else wants to jump in and try and do that, that would be possible as well. It's just a matter of updating the configuration.
Right.
So if you looked at the other PR for what I did for 8, you know, it'd basically be delete a bunch of lines and some files. So anyway, I'll leave that one open. If anybody wants to, you know, jump on it, just tag it that you're actually going to do it.
Okay.
I can take a stab at that. It should be, I think you talked about those last time at the work session, right? Those
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like updating the streams, I guess.
Yeah, it's basically, in this case, like deleting the 7.x in the XML configuration files. So yeah, you can put together a PR, and then I can pretty easily test it out, but I think you'll get it right. The other thing we were going to do is actually change the colors. So it ended up being kind of an ugly color for 8. So if you can change the color from what's being used, like delete 7 and then change the color that was being used to 7 to what's used for 8, that would be great. Okay, great. So yeah, Kylie, take a look at that. That's great. Okay, add uglify JS benchmark. So this is one where basically it was suggested that that would be a good benchmark. I don't see any real progress on that. Ben had mentioned that he would take a look at it, but that's a while back. Maybe I'll ping him. If somebody else could grab that if he's not. Okay. I just commented on that. Depending on what he comes back, maybe one of the rest of us could take that over if it doesn't happen. Benchmark data cleanup. This one is still active, I think. Like the charts are getting a little dense, so it's basically going to take some MySQL cleaning. Again, if anybody wanted to help out with that, I could get them a copy of the database to sort of test it offline, and then we could run it on the actual one once we had the scripts to do that.
So what database are you using?
It's MySQL database.
Okay.
And the schema's in the documentation there in terms of, on the benchmark in the repo, it describes what's in there. I think, what we'd want to do is go and strip out like every nth entry so that there's just not quite as much data.
Yeah.
Probably spanning the same period of time. We just don't need quite as many dots.
Right.
And we might even think about, can we trim off some of the data off the front, whether that still matters or not. So probably the best bet, if somebody wanted to do it we should do it outside of our the production environment. Just I could provide the database, install MySQL, and then play with the scripts that would clean it out.
Yeah.
And then once we get that right, just apply it to the real data.
Yeah, it will be good if you can, in the issue you can, or like, I don't know, like how you want to share the SQL data.
I'd say like just, if somebody's going to do it, let me know, and then I'll go grab it.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm going to say if anybody wants to start on this, just let me know, and I'll grab my SQL database. And you can test the code. Roll to test the scripts, clean up scripts offline. Yeah, if you're going to start, let me know, because we might as well do it as close to, I don't want to go grab them until we're actually starting to work on it. That's all. I had no DCEIS to the benchmark suite, so I think, and Anil mentioned they're still working on that. Relevant serverless benchmarks.
I remember seeing a PR for that DCEIS. Isn't that the case?
See, I'm going over to pull requests.
No.
I don't see anything there.
Oh. All right, never mind.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to see +1 for me. I'm just looking at the PRs too. I just saw the one to add you two guys to the benchmarking work group, so I chimed in with a +1. Gareth, if you can take a look, chime in. And once we get a few more people and nobody objecting, we can go ahead. So yeah, relevant serverless benchmarks. So there's been no activity since last year. It's probably still not a bad idea to look at serverless. I just think we haven't quite gotten there yet. I think I'm just going to say we're going to close this one unless anybody thinks there's a better idea. Okay. Date format generated by Acme Air driver can't be parsed by JavaScript date. Let's see if that got landed.
I don't think it has been.
No.
So I know that one of the people who was, well, you can see if you go back to the Acme Air repo, who was in the WebSphere organization at IBM. So perhaps you might be able to reach out if he's still the person who's does stuff on that repo, Moss.
Oh, who is that?
Moss Ushida, I think he's called.
Okay, let me see if I just want to send an email while we talk and see if that can help.
Yeah.
If I can get my tubers. So you said Moss?
Moss.
Moss, okay.
And then Ushida, UCHIDA.
So is it just MOS?
Yeah, MOSS.
Okay, I'm just looking, that didn't show up as anything. The two, where did you see his name, just to see?
So if you follow the link to that pull request and then just look
Yep.
at the sort of the main thing for the repo, the most recent merge was done by him.
Okay.
And I know I'd made, or I maybe it was Acme itself where I'd submitted a PR to a while ago, and it was him that merged. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, the Acme Node.js, it was my pull request that was the last
Okay.
merged. So might not be as active.
Okay, so open PR, and we've got pull number 1. Does that make any sense? Okay, it's not, okay, hold on, I gotta. Computer, sorry, I'm just flipping to get in the one where I can send that email. Choose. Come on, where are we? There we go. Okay. Send. That's right. Still one more comment, just commenting in the issue now. Come on, I'm trying to see my sets. Okay, so I did that. Oops. I may have just put it into the wrong place, but anyway. Okay. Okay, so back into this next issue. Benchmark enabling TCP no delay. So I did provide some initial data. I haven't had time to follow up to see what's, let's open up that issue to see what's going on there. It's still open. So yeah, I guess I still have an action. I still have an action to launch some more runs. Okay, that's not the right place. Cut. Okay, so I still have that. If I get a chance, I'll get back to it. Nobody's pinged me for quite a while, but I think it's still good to be open. ES 2015, ES Next benchmarks for Node.js. Okay, so that one, I don't think there's been any progress. It still would be good to get something like that, but
We should probably double check that that is still irrelevant and there's not an ES
yeah, sure.
or a newer benchmark suite that's of more interest.
What I'll just say, is this still relevant? Right. Okay, so yeah, I'll make a comment just seeing what Ben Mueller says. Okay, easy Acme or benchmarking setup. So I know, Gareth, you've done a bunch of work on that, right?
Yep, and we didn't really get any sort of response back from Brian. I mean, assuming it all works still, all the stuff should be there or is there in the repo.
So Gareth, do you want to maybe just close that one, saying, you know, it's almost been a year?
Yeah, can do, I suppose.
Probably like, you know, say, okay, well, it seems like we're done here, you know, at Brian or at MSDX. If you need anything else, you know, please reopen or let me know.
Yeah, okay.
Like, unless there's something else you want to leave it open to track.
No, I think we should be okay. Well, yeah, I mean, the Docker file and all the rest of it's still in the repo, so it's available for people to use.
Yeah,
if they so decide.
Yep. So we can
Right.
kind of reopen if somebody tries and has problems or something.
Yep, I'll close it.
Okay, sounds good. Performance version of test 262.
Yeah, I think that was also waiting for
Yeah.
something back.
So should I ping him again? It's been, or do we want to say we would close this? Maybe one more ping and then. I'll give one more ping, basically saying, is this something you're still hoping to move forward? Otherwise, you know, we'll close and, you know, open issues for things we're actively working. Add release dates to charts. I think that one's still a good idea. So I suggest we should leave it open. Unfortunately, just haven't done it in quite a long time. So again, that's something, you know, if somebody looked at the charting infrastructure and figured out how to add in, you know, a good way to add in the dates, probably something where it would be, you know, we want another config file that like had the dates for the particular releases when they happened, and then we could figure out how to sort of mark those on the charts. That would be good, but I'll leave it open for somebody to grab. The next one's similar. So this is feature request is, you know, it'd be good to capture the commit hash as part of the benchmark data stored. Just haven't gone on to do that. So again, just waiting for somebody to have time to do it, or, you know, get to the top of the priority list. Microtest, State of the Union node break. So this is number 25. Right, so this one, I don't know if there's any point keeping it open. I think there's been some discussion, but not for quite a while, right?
Yeah, well, I think as we make it down the list, there's a lot. Haven't really happened for a year or so.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say that. Okay, so I'm just saying closing since there hasn't been conversation for close to a year. If you want to restart, feel free to reopen it. It's probably reasonable. Okay. Okay, maybe I just put the comment and didn't close it though. Track startup speed. So there's still the suggestion that we could use something slightly different for startup, which is why I haven't changed it. I just haven't made it a priority to correct it. So I think that's worth leaving open just in terms of figuring if we want to do something, because today it is startup and shutdown. And maybe it should just be something more, if it can be slightly lighter, maybe it makes sense, but figure, so I suggest we leave that open. Events, benchmarks, tests. This one is propose some new benchmarks that never got landed. Yeah, I think that's fine to leave open too. Benchmarks for V8. Right, so this would be us developing benchmarks that we give back to V8 to run. I think it's still a good idea, but it's a matter of, are we actually going to do anything in the short term? Yeah, maybe it doesn't hurt to leave it open as a reminder, as it's something to consider if we get far enough ahead. So this one is 2 years old. I'm going to say, okay, this. Okay, so that one closed out. Micro benchmarks. Right, so this is quite old, but we still need to figure out how to run some subset of the micro benchmarks in the nightly builds. So I think it's worth leaving open.
Yep.
And candidate benchmarks. Yeah, I think that one's still worth leaving open as well until we've covered over our matrix and or covered all the suggestions in here, which we haven't done yet. So that's the issues, pull requests. So add Canol and Kyle to working groups. So that one I added my +1. I see Gareth added his as well. And actually I should go to approve. So we'll just let that sit a little bit. And if there's no objections, then we'll move forward. Okay. Sorry, I'm moving to the next PR. Update the project team members. So this one. Okay, so that one I think then. Okay, sounds like this can be closed then. So I'm going to close that guy. Okay. Let const var. Okay, I'll give him one more ping. Okay, so just a comment saying we may close it. And then the prototype for running a subset of benchmarks on a pull request. That's still relevant for sure.
Yeah. I think we've had some comments. I'm in trouble opening it, but okay. I think there they are. There was comments on this in itself.
Yep. So I'm going to any update. All right, because yeah, once we get that machine, I think that's the first thing we can launch this at, since it will be separate from the other benchmarks. Okay, so that's all of the active PRs and issues. Anything that I missed in going through that people think we should cover?
Nope.
Okay. So let's go back to, I'm looking for my, where did I have the minutes? Okay, I'm going to say, review of the open issues. Okay, any other business people want to add to the agenda? No? What was that?
We don't have anything on our end.
Okay, so I'm just going to put none. I'm going to then take our actions from last meeting. Put actions for next meeting, so we can say that's done, that's done. Okay, so the one to add the mean is still there. BCEIS is still there. I still have the one to get updated wording on the participation guidelines. Any other actions that we should list as a reminder? I guess, Kunal, you're still working on getting the Acme Air
Yes.
running with Chakra Core?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, once we address the Clang issue, then I will get that job working.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to put follow up on.
Yeah, follow up with Job and yeah.
Right.
Build issue. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I just added one that says Skinnle to follow up on Clang issue that is blocking Chakra Core Acmira runs.
Yep.
Okay. And then our next meeting is scheduled for July 3rd at the same time.
Yep.
So I guess unless there's something else we have to discuss, that's it for this week.
Sounds good.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. And I guess we'll talk to you in a couple weeks, if not before, in GitHub. Thanks for everybody showing up. Talk to you guys
Yeah.
later.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.